Hey, it's Shane with GotROM.com, and I want to show you my favorite exercises for shoulder impingement. So I've had a couple of shoulder impingements over the years that I was able to work through, and a lot of people who are in the gym lifting weights, or maybe not lifting weights, they just are a desk worker, and they go to reach overhead one day and they get this sharp, painful pinching in the front of their shoulder. Well, what do you do about that? So this is kind of the ultimate guide to shoulder impingement. Here's my favorite exercises. And actually, before we get into those, I want you to test your current shoulder range of motion. And this is a very simple test for it. You can lay on your back, and with your feet on the ground, your knees up in the air, back flat, you're gonna reach up, lock your elbows out, and go arms overhead, and see if there's any difference side to side. Now, I don't know if you can tell, for me, I'm right-handed, and I use this side a lot more, and it's a little bit more restricted. If I don't manage that, I'm more at risk of shoulder impingement. So you can tell that it's a little bit higher than my left, and if you see from here, you can maybe tell that it's a little bit farther away from my head. It's just a little bit more restricted because I do everything with my right hand. So let's see if we can improve that over the next couple of exercises. So do that test for yourself. Make sure that your elbows are locked out and you're going overhead, and make sure that your back doesn't arch, which is a cheat or a compensation. Your back should stay in contact. Your low back should stay in contact with the ground the entire time, and then you should keep your elbows locked out and see what your shoulder range of motion is. So first things first, your upper back posture. If you're rounded like grandma and grandpa, you're at much greater risk of shoulder impingement. So we got to work on that upper back posture, and there's two ways to go about it. The easiest way is with the foam roller. You lay on your back and arch over the foam roller with your hands behind your head and just teeter-totter back and forth, getting some motion in your upper back. Usually it's very rounded like a turtle. We want to get it a little bit more young and spry. So you're rounding back, breathing and relaxing, making little motions, just trying to get some fluidity back there. Another thing that you can do is to roll up and down if that feels good. You can kind of just shimmy and wiggle, whatever feels like it's making more gentle motion happen in your back. The other thing you can do is, if you have the shoulder range of motion for it, you can make this position with your hands and duck your head through and use your arms to squeeze your own head. Now the leverage, the weight of these arms, makes this a little bit more intense of a stretch. Breathing, rolling, wiggling. If you can't use your biceps to kind of squeeze your own head, you could grab behind like this, and then you've got a little bit of the same effect. So do whatever feels good for your body. If this becomes one day not intense enough for you, or if you want to get a little bit more pinpoint, you can grab 2 lacrosse balls. What I like about this, and this is, it took me 6, 8, 12 months before this became very comfortable, so give yourself time. But basically you take these, put them onto your upper back, sneak them up there, make sure they're symmetrical, and then a lot of people have to start like this, hands down by their side, and just rolling out those knots there. Eventually I want you to progress after a couple weeks or months to your hands behind your head and gently steamrolling up and down. This is just massaging the muscles. This is getting a little joint mobility because I'm getting thoracic extension, arching in my upper back, and thoracic rounding. And it's basically like someone's taking your spine and just bending it back and forth and getting some of that normal motion that you had as a kid that you've lost, getting it back, which is going to give your shoulders so much more breathing room. So you're teeter-tottering back and forth, or you're steamrolling up and down. If the lacrosse balls catch on your shirt, you can pull on your shirt and kind of get yourself unstuck, and then put your hands back behind your head. Or you can just drape yourself back and breathe and relax. There's really no wrong way to go about it. There's just a few techniques to do, which is to roll or teeter-totter, or have the arms long, teeter-tottering or rolling, or just breathing and relaxing. They're all valid. Whatever feels like it's making change in those muscles and in those joints for you. Go very, very slow in the beginning. I'm going a little faster to kind of get it all in for you. So when you're done with that, you can retest your shoulder range of motion, see how it's different. It already feels like I have a lot more clearance for myself in this shoulder. The other thing that you can do while you're in that same position, and this is a little bit more sensitive because now it's not symmetrical, there's not two lacrosse balls, but you can put one of them right next to your spine, not on the bony spine, but just lateral of it. This is my spine, it's just lateral over here. And you can massage just that one side. You're going to be mobilizing some of the ribs, you're going to be working on the knots and the trigger points, all of it. Eventually, and this is definitively one of the more intense things that you can do, so don't worry if this is just a no-go in the beginning, but if you can go arm long, head up, reach back and grab your own arm, pick your hips up and move them to the side so you're only on your right butt cheek if you're working on your right side, or your left butt cheek if you're working on your left side, and then scrub like that. Now we're mobilizing in the position that we're trying to improve, our arms overhead, and we're getting access to all of the muscles and the tight ribs and everything that can be restricting that. So this really can make some change, and boy, I'll tell you in the beginning it's intense. So don't forget to breathe, let it sink in. Never feel like you're pressing on your spine in a way that feels sharp or painful or pinchy. Go slow, close your eyes, be mindful, you'll be okay. So do this for a little while, scrubbing out those gnarly upper back knots, breathing, letting it sink in, mobilizing the ribs. Retest your arms when you're done with that one. While we're here on the ground, what we can do is work on anything in and around the shoulder joint. So, for example, we can work on the front of the shoulder joint, the anterior deltoid. What you want to do here is put your the lacrosse ball on the front tip of your shoulder, and then put your hand behind your back, and then peel side to side, small little motions on whatever feels junky and dense and tight there. A lot of people who've been sitting for many, many years, their shoulders roll forward, and these muscles get chronically tight, so you want to start to soften them up. If it gets really intense, you can pause and put your forehead on your forearm. Breathe, relax, let your body melt. Do little shimmies, little scrubs, just scrubbing out the knots. And you can also flip around, and instead of having your hand behind your back, you can have your hand behind your head, and the lacrosse ball on the back of the shoulder is your posterior deltoid rotator cuff, and this is another really junky area which can limit your shoulder range of motion and cause your shoulder impingement. So now you're back here, your elbows off the ground, all of my weight's on top of that lacrosse ball, and I'm kind of scrubbing side to side. This is right where it is here, and I'm just becoming dead weight and then scrubbing. I kind of alternate a minute of this, a minute of that. So I'm scrubbing for a minute, grinding around, undoing the knots, relax a little bit, take a couple breaths, scrub a little bit more. While you're in this area on the back of the shoulder, we can work down into the lats. For this one, your arm goes overhead, and I'm going to pull my torso this way and smear that lacrosse ball into the ground. If you need a slightly larger diameter ball, you can grab a softball, but a lacrosse ball is fine for a lot of people. So I'm on the inside of my lat. This is my lat right here, and I'm kind of on the inside of it with the lacrosse ball, and I'm smearing across, and that feels pretty darn junky. So I'm going to take a couple breaths, calm my nervous system down, relax, pull myself into it, breathe in, relax, scrub, really undo some of that lat tightness there. You can even come up into this position if it feels good. Breathe and relax. So far we've worked on the front of the shoulder joint. We've worked on your upper back posture. We worked on your posterior deltoid. We worked on your lat. A really kind of unknown secret area is this middle delt, and it can be one of the major limiters of your shoulder overhead range of motion. They can cause a lot of your shoulder impingement. But how the heck do you work on that? You could land a lacrosse ball on your side, but the muscle is kind of lengthened and taut. It's kind of like pulling my shirt tight like this. And then if you try to massage it when it's pulled tight, it doesn't work so well. So we want it actually to be a little bunched up so that there's more to kind of grip into. So how you do that is you just elevate the arm a little bit and then start scrubbing it. So here's how you do that. You grab a box, you grab a barbell if you're in the gym. Gotta have access to a barbell to do this one. You put your shoulder joint on top of that box. Now it's a little bit bunched up like this. And then you roll the barbell across that middle deltoid. Find a good spot, scrub, scrub, scrub. Change the angle a little bit to get what's tight for you. But this is a really hidden area that a lot of people are missing, is this middle deltoid. So spend some time here. If it's not enough pressure, you could add a little pressure with your leg, but that's pretty darn intense. Find a good area and really work it for a couple of minutes. See what that does for your shoulder impingement if you're experiencing shoulder impingement, or just your range of motion if you're trying to improve that. The next thing to work on, we worked on the front, the side, the back, the lats. Got to get these big meaty pecs here. So you can take your 2 lacrosse balls and you could either tape them together or you could just hold them like this. And you'll need to stand up for this one. So you're going to go here, stand up, make your way over to a pole, and I'll show you with the side that I'm not working on so you can see it a little bit better. But basically you hold it with an overhand grip, put it right on the corner of your chest where it meets the shoulder, and then lean into a door frame or a pole and move the arm up and down like this. What's good about this is it's kind of like an ART technique, active release technique. You pin the muscle down and stretch the muscle underneath the pin. So you're here, pin and stretch, or go up and out in a circle. And if you're doing that on the same side, then you would have accomplished working on the pecs, the delts, the middle delt, posterior delt and the rotator cuff, the upper back with the single lacrosse ball, the thoracic spine with the foam roller and the 2 lacrosse balls. And then what's left to do is a couple quick stretches, and you'll find that you have like a brand new shoulder. So here's the stretches. The first one is to grab a band. So you have a band here. This is going to be a lat stretch. You're going to need a pole. You're going to throw it up around the pole, loop it through so it's secure. So you've hooked it onto an elevated bar, and then you put it on the back of your wrist here, crisscross it in front, and grab it. It's very important that this be securely kind of locked on the back of your wrist. If you just grab the band like this and try to stretch, your muscles have to be tense to hold on to this. Whereas if you put it on the back of your wrist, crisscross it very close to your wrist, and then grab it, it's snug and it stays on me even if I'm not gripping with my hand. So you're here, you're going to sit down onto your butt, and you're going to have it rainbow over the side of your body like this. So what's happening is I'm getting a big old stretch on these lat muscles, these big meaty lat muscles, which can limit my overhead range of motion. So I'm here, big roundedness on the side of my body. I'll show you from a different perspective as well. Back of the wrist, crisscross. And I'm here. And your hand is blocking you so you don't slide that way. So you're blocked. Make a big curve on the side of your body, like a big rainbow, and try to push your armpit out in that direction over there. And then breathe and relax, hunt around, search for the best stretch for you. This is one of my favorite lat stretches, and that'll just free up this side of your body and make your shoulder overhead range of motion much, much cleaner. So keep doing all that on the same arm that you're doing, And the final stretch will be the other side of the joint, the big meaty pecs, which we've done some tissue work on. Now we'll stretch them. I'll do that standing right here. So what you'll do, there's a couple stretches you can do. If you're in a squat rack in the gym, you can put your wrists on the pole, step through with the same side leg that you're going to stretch, and then turn away from that arm. And you get a stretch right here across the chest. You don't want to feel it in the bicep or in the front of the shoulder. You want to feel it right here in the chest. So I'm stepping through the door, turning away. Or you can go with a completely straight arm. Arm is straight. I rotate my elbow pit up to the sky, step through, turn away. Breathe and relax. Or the last variation is just to put just one elbow into the door frame or the pole, step through, turn away. This is your target for the stretch right here. Breathe and relax, or build some tension in those muscles, kind of contract everything, just get everything tight. Hold your breath and relax. When you're done stretching these pecs, you've now completed kind of the top things to do for shoulder impingement. You've worked on your upper back posture, you've worked in and around all of these muscles, you've retested your arms. Let's see what happened with mine. So I'll go back down here, lay on my back, back flat, arms straight, arms overhead. And for me, feels like they're a lot closer than they were in the beginning. And if you see from this angle, when I started, it felt like it was kind of out here, and just a little bit of that work has brought it in a little bit. What this means is less shoulder impingement, better overhead movements in the gym, overhead squats, overhead pressing, snatches, anything overhead. So there's a whole host of other things that you can do, but those are some of my favorites, so I hope that video was valuable for you.